Hey guys, how's it going? This is the Spock. We are here today in Elite Dangerous with another shipbuilding guide. I am actually here today in a Krait Mark II. I have been requested by multiple people to update my Krait Mark II video, and I do agree it's a little outdated, so we are here today with an updated version of my Krait that I would use for beginning PvP, some PvP, mostly 1v1, small wings, and PvE. It's really good for that too if you want to set it up a little different or go with what I have, but I will be covering how to set it up for more wing fighting orientation, so let's go into it. The Krait Mark II is a great ship, and it's probably one of my favorite ships in the game. As you guys know, I constantly fly them, and I have 28 of them. Some would say I'm known as the Krait Master, but it is what it is. But we are going to go into the outfitting and see what we have done. I have went with a 4 plasma 1 rail build for this ship. You can go with the 3 plasma 2 rail build. It's really up to you. Your mileage may vary on how you might do with the others. You can also go with frags and a rail, or 2 frags and 2 rails, so I'd probably stick to 4 frags just so you have that extra DPS, but it's really up to you what you want to do. I find the plasma accelerators to probably be the best in the game. But this is what I have on my plasmas though. On this first large I have an efficient 5 with thermal conduit. Once you reach over 100% heat you get a plus 60 damage boost, which is really nice to have to really crank out that extra damage, and you really can hit that heat once you get hot from shield cell banking, so that's pretty nice. My second plasma accelerator is actually the same, efficient 5 with thermal conduit. The reason I go with efficient is so it doesn't drain my distro or make me super duper hot, and it's also really nice on power saving, but it also still gives really good DPS due to it reducing power distributor draw, which is super duper handy. So you can fire about 2 volleys, or I believe 2 volleys, before you have to recharge your whole distro in your weapon, so that's pretty nice. For the third large we have efficient 5 with target lock breaker, very handy to confuse your opponents when they're aiming at you, throws them off, makes it hard for them to aim at you. Very nice to have in my opinion. And for the medium plasma we have efficient 5 with dispersal. Dispersal is basically kind of like a chaff effect. It's very handy against big ships with multi-cannons, or ships in general with multi-cannons. It's basically a free chaff, very handy to get when you're hitting enemies to get them off your teammates or you. Probably one of the most important modifications I think on the ship, but that is just me. And last we have a 2B railgun with long range 5 and feedback. Rails are probably the most important part of the ship, especially with feedback, because you can deal with shield cell banks on big ships and shield tanks. Very nice to have. Very handy to ping bioweaves and destroy SLFs. Also really good at pip checking if you can hit them really well. But really nice to have, and probably the most important part of the ship in my opinion. Very nice to have. Okay. And for utility mounts we are running an OA resistant augmented booster 5 with supercapacitors. Get those resistances up. This ship does use a bioweave, but you can fit it with a prismatic, and I will show you how once we get to that step. And then I have 2 OA boosters with heavy duty shield booster 5 with supercapacitors, getting that shield strength up. You really want to get these shields up to at least 900 if not more. I always try to aim for a little bit more, but your mileage may vary. And then an OI heatsink with ammo capacity mod 1. Sadly there's only one. I wish there was more, but it is what it is. You need these heat sinks to be able to double bank on this ship, as it does use 2 shield cell banks, but we will go into that once we get to the shield cell banks. For the core internals we have reactive surface composite. I have this one lightweighted to 5 plus deep plating. Very nice to have to be extra agile. Kraits need all the speed they can get, so this is one way to get some extra speed, but also have really good resistances. Your hull is also pretty decent, so yeah. cutting this basically less than half is amazing, so keep that in mind. For our power plants, this is what's amazing about the crate, is that it comes with a 7-slot power plant. I have mine armored 5 plus stripped down. The reason why I go with armored is so it doesn't get shot out easily and it doesn't cook as much. The power capacity is extra nice. It's not much, but it does help a lot. The heat efficiency is also very nice and helps out a lot. Also, the integrity is very nice, and the mass gain is really not that much. And I put stripped down on it to save on what little weight I can, so I can get extra speed. Speed's very important in this ship, and you'll hear me say that a lot. And speaking of speed, we got 6A thrusters. Dirty Drive Tuning 5 on them with drag drives. The Krait isn't known for the hyper acceleration like the FDL, the Mamba, and the Chieftain. It's a little slower, but it does have fast boost times of only 2 seconds with a boost agility modifier at least 3 seconds, if I believe. So you can basically stay agile on the ship and not really stall, unlike the other ships. So it's really a give or take. I personally like that way of flying because I'm always able to whip around and do other stuff, but that is just me. For the frame shift drive, we have fast boot sequence. I put 3 because I ran out of selenium and didn't be able to get the 4 and 5, but you can set it up to 5, or you can set really whatever you want. I also have stripped down to save on weight. Basically, the reason why I went with fast boot though is because I wanted to save on the weight, and fast boot is the only modification where it actually does not give you weight. And to be honest, I do recommend this in case you ever need to turn your power or frame shift drive off to save power, or if you get grommed. It's probably one of the best modifications for PvP in my opinion, so yeah. For life support, I went with a 4D miscellaneous lightweight 5 to save on as much weight as I possibly can. And also did that for the sensors, miscellaneous lightweight 5, or lightweight scanner. And probably something else that's really important about the Krait is that it comes with a 7A distro. In my opinion, this is what separates the Krait from every other ship. This distro lets you have the capacity to do with whatever you want. You can set up really heavy weapons on this ship and still be able to pack a punch and still be able to deliver them reliably. Yeah, it's amazing, and I do recommend Charged Enhanced Power 5 with super conduits. It's really about the only modification for PvP that makes sense. Really the only other one is for exploring, and that's engine focus, but that's kind of a hit and miss. But for PvP and PvE, I always recommend Charged Enhanced Power 5 distributed with superconductance. There's really no other choice to go any other way. Okay, and onwards to the optional internals. We are on to the 6C Biweave. As I said, this ship does use a Biweave, but you can use a prismatic, and I'll go over that just in a second. This one uses thermal resistant 5 fast charge. This really helps against rails, frags, and also plasmas a bit. Has enough absolute to also deal with them too. What's nice about Biweaves is that it recharges passively as long as you're not taking damage, and they will also recharge from a 0 to 50 really fast. What's nice, once you recharge your shields, you do get 50% of your shields back up front. And then, yeah. I believe my 0 to 50 is a minute and 10 seconds, and my 50 to 100 is about 2 minutes, so not bad. It is what it is, but I find this to be the best middle ground, in my opinion. But yes, and to complement that shield Biweave, if you want to keep them up, I'd recommend using your banks before using the recharge as much as you can on the Biweave, so you don't leave your hull exposed or get your bank sniped out, which I've had before actually, but very long ago. But you want to be double banking these shield cell banks, so basically press the 2 banks and pop your heatsink. Is really what I would recommend. So for the 6A and the 5A shield cell bank, we got rapid charge 4 recycling cell. The only way you're going to get grade 4 is if you go out to Colonia, to the engineer out there, and get them. You can only get G3 here in the bubble. I do recommend getting G4 as soon as you can, because Krait benefits from banks so heavily because they're so big. And with the short charge time, it makes it very hard to cancel them, and that is really what makes the Krait strong. So I do recommend that a lot. As I said, the 5A is the same, rapid charge 4. Yeah. And then we got some hull reinforcements here. I got a 5D with heavy duty hull 5 with reinforcement. Also, I happen to remember, if you want to set this up for a more wing fighting ship, set this 5A as a 5A prismatic, I think. I think prismatics are A class. And move the shield cell bank, these two 6 slots as 6A shield cells with rapid charge recycling, and you'll have a good one. Also, flip your resistant augmented booster to a thermal res, or switch one of the heavy duties to thermal res, and then you'll have a very good wing fighting ship. But back to this ship. Modification for this, we got heavy duty hull reinforcement 5 with deep plating, getting that integrity up. We're about 2,500. That's really good, but you really don't want to be using it too much. If you are in a wing fight, you want to be able to get out of there and use that health just to get out, unless you think you can tank it, but that is up to you to decide. For the 3D, we have thermal resistant hull 5 reinforcement with deep plating. Very nice to have. It counterbalances that reactive armor, as reactive only does kinetic and explosive and does not do thermal, so it really fixes the thermal res on it, so that's nice. It really makes it even too. And for this build, you will need Guardian Shield reinforcement packages. Basically, this acts as an internal heavy duty booster inside the ship. Luckily, it gives no penalty or gains to the resistance, just absolute shield reinforcement, which is nice when you need to get that shield strength up as much as you can. Also, you can put a frame shift drive interdictor here. I just didn't have one, so I put a Guardian Shield reinforcement package here, but that is up to you to decide. But I do recommend it. But yes, that is the Krait, and you guys have seen me use this ship many times throughout the years and on my channel. It's probably one of the best ships in the game. I do recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It does take a lot of practice to really master it, but I do recommend it. It's a fun ship. It has a lot of customization. It's not a one-trick pony. It does it all really well, all the way from exploration combat to trading to mining. It's really a great ship. But I'm also curious of what you guys use for PvP on your Krait. I'm always looking for interesting builds to try out and also look at, just to see out of curiosity. I'm curious to see what you guys think of my build. I'm always looking for feedback and also curious of what you might have experienced if you've used my builds. But yeah, please tell me down below what you think, and if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe. It does help the channel and helps get future content. Until then guys, I'll catch you on the next one. See y'all.